Page 1. You see what looks like the first test room. There is the large button and a box, and the sleeping chamber. You see the ratman, and he is holding something to draw with, possibly chalk, judging by the style of the comic. There are various scribbles on the wall. Some have arrows pointing to 27%, 35%, and 19.2%. There is also a scribble of a skull face, and above the skull face it reads, "Hear the turrets, for it is Nell, summons to heaven or hell." The narrative is, reality is a story the mind tells itself, an artificial structure conjured into being by the calcium ion exchange of a million synaptic firings, a truth so strange it can only be lied into existence. And our minds can lie. Never doubt it. Page 2. The ratman is running down a hall. You see Chell standing there as an orange shadow. The ratman thinks to himself, "What's this? Real, or just my lying mind again? Can she truly be awake after all this time? No, it's just a figment. If she were real, the turrets would see her too." You see a turret looking at Chell and says,
"Target acquired,"
and shoots at her. Ratman says as he runs off, "The end is finally upon us." Page 3. Ratman runs through a door labeled Employees Only. Through the door you can see lots of lockers. You can see the companion cube clearly strapped to his back as he enters. He opens a locker and you see a little jar with a note taped to it labeled, "For the End Times." The companion cube strapped to his back protests, "Don't do it!" as he holds the bottle tightly in his hands. There is a flashback to when he was an employee holding the bag that contained the bottle. He is hunched over as he holds the bag, looking rather worried. Page 4. Still in the flashback, you can clearly see the ratman has different colored eyes. One of them is white and one of them is black. As he tears open the bag he had been clutching, you see two employees behind him talking. Employee 1, "We put cameras in the cameras." Employee 2, "Genius." Employee 1, "He'll never suspect." There is also a narrative that states the cube root of 2x is irrational if x is irrational. Then there is a close-up of the bottle Ratman took out of the bag. It reads, "Ziaprasidone, antipsychotic medication, prescription, Doug." Back to the present, Ratman is holding the same bottle. The companion cube protests, "Come on, you don't need those anymore. You're fine." The Ratman replies, "It's been so long. I've been saving these last two for this day. I'm going to need a clear head for what is to come." The Ratman throws the pills into his mouth and the companion cube states, "This will be the end of us." Page 5. The background of this page looks to be pieced together by a jigsaw puzzle. With the companion cube still strapped to his back, you see the Ratman running off to the right side of the page. The narrative states, "There are moments when I can see the underlying grammar of this place. An impossibility, some mad architect's opus, a relic from an age that never could have been. It's a masticized amalgam of add-ons, additions, and appropriations, building itself out of itself, beautiful and terrible. And like anything cloned from a cancer cell, probably immortal." At the bottom of the page, Ratman is running to the left. The companion cube says, "Stay to the right, turrets on your left." Ratman pauses at the end of the hallway, where you can see many pictures that he drew on the walls. The pictures are non-distinct. One looks to possibly be GLaDOS around a bunch of people. Ratman says, "Whatever you say." Page 6. Ratman says, "Another mural to mark the occasion." You see a large painted face of Chell with her eyes closed. After his painting, the Ratman is sitting on the floor with his arms on his knees and his head resting on his arms. Companion cube, "Where is the girl?" Ratman, "On her way to the final chamber." Companion cube, "You mean with her?" Page 7. Companion cube. She doesn't have a chance. Ratman. Oh, she has more of a chance than you think. Ratman is holding a personnel file open. It reads Chell, but none of the other words are readable. The word BOOM is in very large letters, and half the page has gone completely black, except for Ratman and the companion cube falling. Surrounding him are many papers. Page 8. You see a room filled with rubble. On top of the rubble is one of Chell's papers. It has a picture of her face in the top right of the page. On the paper in very small letters it reads, Essay Question 1-A. Why should Aperture Science accept you as a research volunteer, and would anyone file a police report if you went missing? HR note. Subject refused to answer. At the bottom of the page is binary code. When translated, it says, The cake is a lie. You see Ratman struggle to get up and says, What was that? He runs over to the companion cube. Are you okay? He is holding the companion cube as it speaks to him. The room shook itself to pieces. Ratman. Like an unbalanced centrifuge. Companion cube. I heard an explosion. What does it mean? Page 9. Ratman. Only one thing it can mean. The Ratman runs through the lab and enters into GLaDOS' chamber. He says with a relieved smile on his face, She did it. It's over. The ultimate systems crash. Page 10. There is a flashback to when he was an employee. Henry. It's been a hell of a morning. You missed all the fun. We had to hit the kill switch again. Ratman. Henry, you have a strange idea of fun. Henry. Hey, we're lucky to be working on this. Ratman. You have a strange idea of luck, too. Henry. Think about it. Every generation gets some new frontier to tackle. Einstein got relativity, the NASA cowboys got the moon. All the easy stuff is taken. I mean, take a look around you. We're on the bleeding edge here. Artificial consciousness is the next frontier. Ratman. But every time we turn it on, it takes a 16th of a picosecond before it tries to kill us. Henry. Last time it took a 10th of a picosecond. See, we're making progress. I'm telling you, this is our generation's moonshot. You then hear an announcement. Cave Johnson here. You lab boys quit your yapping and get back to work. This has been a pre-recorded message. Ratman. I'd rather have gone to the moon. Page 11. Back in the present, the companion cube asks, Where's the girl? She didn't stay to check her handiwork? Ratman. She must have gotten out. Probably on the surface soaking up some sun. Companion cube. I'm sure you're right. What is this sun you speak of? Ratman. And she has the right idea. Come on, we're wasting daylight. Ratman straps the companion cube on his back again. Companion cube. Watch out for the turrets. The queen may be dead, but this hornet's nest has been kicked. Page 12. You see Ratman pushing through doors to the outside. Ratman. Freedom! He then looks behind him. Shh! I hear something. Companion cube. Quick, get down before it sees you. Ratman quickly hides behind some rubble. You see the lower half of Chell's body on the ground, with the foot bracers broken into pieces. Page 13. Ratman peeks out from behind the rubble and exclaims, No, it's striking her back inside. You see one of the personality spheres with little stick arms and hands drag Chell by the shoulders. Ratman glares at the core from his hiding spot. There is another flashback. Henry. Hey, Doug, can I get a hand here? Ratman/Doug. Sure. Henry. Just reach inside past all those gears and turn on the power supply. Ratman starts to reach his hand in. Wait a sec, safety first. Are you right-handed or left? Ratman. Right. Henry. Better use your left then. Ratman. Why? Henry, just in case. Ratman, what is this thing anyway? Page 14. Henry, you can think of it as a conscience. Ratman, if that's all you use to control her, it won't be enough. Henry, why's that? Ratman, you can always ignore your conscience. We are now back in the present. The companion cube protests, you don't have to go back in there. Ratman, I can't just walk away. Companion cube, you're right, walking's too slow. Run away. Ratman, running is what I've been doing. Running and hiding. Companion cube, it's why you're still alive. You're not a hero. Heroes die. Ratman, you don't understand. It's my fault she's down there. I'm not leaving her. I would have been trapped forever if not for her. Companion cube, listen, it's too dangerous. You're going to get killed. Ratman, so be it, but I'm done running. I have to at least try to save her. The companion cube says as he jumps down a hole back into the lab. Then you really are crazy. Page 15. Companion cube, I'm not feeling so good. These pills you took, I think the medicine is starting to work. So, you don't need me anymore. Ratman, I'll always need you. Companion cube, I don't think you will. The companion cube's words fade away. Ratman stops and looks rather horrified. To his right is a poster that reads, "The cryo suspension is both safe and fun." And behind him is another poster that is partially covered by his head. It says, "Legality. Test subjects who failed to wake from the long-term cryo suspension are determined to have been dead." Ratman then looks into a window that shows a room with a plant and a couple of wall lights with a hanging light. There's also a picture on the left wall and a chair to the left of the bed. In the bed is Chell sleeping. Ratman, no! They've already put her in long-term relaxation. Page 16. Ratman, I need to get up to the cryo control, but turrets block the way. Her cryo chamber. Something's wrong. Life support has been compromised. The explosion blew the main grid. Her chamber's offline. Ratman exclaims as he looks at the various lights on the panel, before quickly covering his mouth and looking behind him. He then glares with a very determined look in his eyes. He knows Chell's life is in his hands now. Page 17. You see Ratman climbing up a ladder in a small shaft. I'm only going to get one chance. I have to cross the room, get past the turrets, jump the rail, then dive left or right to avoid being shot. Okay, do I dive left or right? Hello? You still back there? Ratman sighs and slumps over as he gets no response from the companion cube on his back. You see he is nearing a room full of turrets. There was a small doorway gap between him and the turrets. Left or right? Don't make me guess, I'm running out of time. Well, ready or not.
Target acquired.
One of the turrets had him in its sights and shot him in the calf. Page 18. You see Ratman lying on the floor with blood pouring from his leg. He slowly crawls over as he reaches for the companion cube. Must stay conscious, he says slowly as he passes out. Page 19. Now unconscious, Ratman is dreaming of the past. You are in the chamber with GLaDOS as she awakens.
The Enrichment Center would like to announce a new employee initiative of forced voluntary participation. If any Aperture Science employees would like to opt out of this new voluntary testing program, please remember, science rhymes with compliance. Do you know what doesn't rhyme with compliance? Neurotoxin. Due to high mortality rates, you may be reluctant to participate in the new initiative.
You can see many, many dead employees.
The Enrichment Center assures you this is a strictly selfish impulse on your part, and why can't you love science, like insert employee's name here? And now there's just you. All the others are dead. You've avoided capture for weeks. What makes you so different? Delusions of persecution, pathological paranoia. It's all right here in your file. Have you refilled your prescription lately?
Bite me!
Schizophrenia is a culturally bound phenomenon. Its pattern of expression is filtered through the cultural substrate in which its symptoms develop. In technological societies, this manifests as delusions of surveillance and a belief that advanced technology is deployed against you, usually with some vague unseen other out to get you.
You're not vague, you're pretty damn specific.
If you continue to selfishly evade me, it's not going to reflect well in your file.
Of course, the files! Page 20. GLaDOS speaks to Ratman through the speaker system.
I can't see you, but I know you're in there. Is it just coincidence that you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and now believe a homicidal computer is out to get you? Come on, how likely is that? I mean really, you're a scientist. What is more likely, that you're being chased by a homicidal computer, or that this is all just the paranoid delusion of an unstable mind? Why not come out of there, and you'll see, none of this is real. I'd ask you to think outside the box on this, but it's obvious your box is broken and has schizophrenia. Speaking of boxes, do you know that thought experiment with the cat in the box with the poison? Theory requires the cat be both alive and dead until observed. Well, I actually performed the experiment dozens of times. The bad news is that reality doesn't exist. The good news is we have a new cat graveyard. Why are you in the file room anyway? What could you possibly be doing?
Ratman shuffles through the files quickly as GLaDOS speaks and pulls one out. Yes, this is the one. Page 21.
In the event you don't survive the testing process, DNA may be harvested from your body with your consent and used to create clones in the furtherance of science. Failure to survive the testing process shall be viewed as granting consent. Also, clones don't have souls. Just so you know. Like twins.
Ratman is holding the file in his teeth as he frantically types on the computer. You get a glimpse of the computer screen, which has a list of test subjects. Chell is number 1498. It says Chell redacted, which I guess means she didn't give her last name. You then see Chell's name is listed at the number 1 spot. The next screen says Test Subject Order Modified, saving file 88%. Ratman says while he's still holding the file in his teeth, it has to be her. Page 22. You see Ratman waking up and reaching for the companion cube before passing out once again. You see GLaDOS speaking to Henry and Ratman.
Since the installation of my new morality core, I've lost all interest in killing. Now I only crave science.
Henry. I'm pleased to hear that.
I find myself drawn to the study of consciousness. There's an experiment I'd like to perform during Bring Your Cat to Work Day.
Wonderful.
I'll have the box and the cats. Now I just need one more thing.
What's that?
A little neurotoxin.
Well, as long as it's for science. Ratman is looking at Henry like, you have got to be kidding me. Page 23. Ratman wakes up again. How long have I been out? He asks as he still lays on the floor. Companion cube. Long enough. Ratman. You're back. Companion cube. I never left. There's something I wanted to ask you. How did you know about the girl? Ratman. Know what? Companion cube. That she was the one. Ratman. Something in her file. Companion cube. She had the highest IQ? Ratman. No, some were higher. Companion cube. Then she was the fastest? The most athletic? Ratman. No, nothing like that. Companion cube. Then what? Ratman. A hunch. Page 24. Companion cube. You might still be able to save her. Ratman sits up hearing this. What? How? I can't get to her cryo chamber. Companion cube. You can't free her, but you might save her. You can patch your cryo unit into the reserve grid. You can reset the fuses and restart her life support, if it's not too late already. Ratman crawls along the floor and pulls himself up to the computer console. Ratman. But even if it works, there will still be no wake-up date. She'll be in there indefinitely. So, it's the long sleep or the long sleep. And I don't know which is worse. Forgive me. He pushes a button on the computer to restart the life support to Chell's chamber. Page 25. There's a whooshing sound as air suddenly fills the chamber. There appears to be a little blood that dripped from Chell's eyes. Ratman. It worked. Sleep well. Both alive and dead until someone opens the box. Maybe it's time I slept too. I'm so tired now. Ratman crawls over to the sleeping chamber Chell woke up from at the start of the game in Portal 1. Companion cube. You've earned a rest. Ratman uses the companion cube to help him into the chamber. Ratman. You see, I told you I'd always need you. Page 26. It shows Ratman sleeping in the chamber as the companion cube rests on the floor next to him. The files fell to the floor and reveals a graph. Subject name, Chell. The graph displays Chell's tenacity, which is extremely high in the 99.9th percentile. Protractor's note. Test subject is abnormally stubborn. She never gives up. Ever. Rejected. Do not test.